and I'm pissing off the neighbors. Whether homegrown or imported, we feeling shorted, cause we waiting on our paper. So next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Yeah, you don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets, cause when you're in the Motor City, nothing is as pretty as the hustle. You don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets, cause when you're in the Motor City, everything ain't pretty, but it's love though. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Yeah.
Man, hello everyone. Welcome to Detroit Lions Syndicate, the 2022 season wrap-up. What a season it's been. This was kind of an impromptu stream, therefore, I know you guys weren't ready for it. One of the things that stood out to me, Brad Holmes did his end-of-season wrap-up today, the press conference. It was about 37 minutes long. And one of the things that stood out to me was his confidence in not only Jared Goff, but in the team in general. The 2022 season was something that I don't think any one of us expected. It was a ride that we enjoyed, but it was filled with ups and downs. The Detroit Lions, they start off very rocky. And by the time the mid-season came, our team was 1-6. We had put up the fight against a lot of people, but we couldn't finish. We couldn't finish what we started. We fired Aubrey Pleasant after the Miami Dolphins game, and the whole thing turned around. Khalif Raymond, a lot of one-year deals that we had that I questioned. I remember, and Brad said it today during his press conference, about the one-year deals. The first thing that the Detroit Lions did heading into the offseason was they re-signed a bunch of guys. We brought back Khalif Raymond. We brought back Alex Anzalone. All we did is re-sign guys that had already been on the team. I made a video about it. I said, all-season drip, because I was kind of looking for a splash move. Reflecting back on it now, I see that Brad Holmes, this guy over my left shoulder, he knew exactly what he was doing. He brought back guys that were going to be a core asset to this team. The Khalif Raymonds, the Josh Reynolds, signed him to a 2-year deal. The core, the foundation was being built in 2021. And in 2022, we continued to build upon that foundation. From 1-6, firing Aubrey Pleasant, Jared Goff, Dan Campbell kept saying, we're right there. We're right there. You wanted to see it. Some of us saw it. Some of us didn't. Saw that we were one step away, one play, one win. And we just couldn't get there. And then right around that midseason point, we trade TJ Hawkinson. Again, another move I didn't really care for because it was interdivision. And from that moment on, we became a team that nobody wants to play. And what I learned over this season is that Brad Holmes is good at what he does. He has earned my respect. He has earned my trust. One of the things that he said in his press conference today is he talked about Jared Goff. And I know a lot of y'all may or may not want to hear it. Jared Goff was never a bridge quarterback. And he is not a bridge quarterback. Now, how you or I feel about him, that doesn't matter. If you don't like Jared Goff, that doesn't matter. If you love Jared Goff, it doesn't matter. What matters is what he showed and what Brad Holmes said today was he always knew that Jared Goff was going to be here for a while and that they had to live up to their side of the bargain, which is provide him the weapons and the tools needed to succeed. He does that. Okay, our offense was top 5 for the most part of the part of the year. The defense is what let the team down. So whatever thoughts you have about Jared Goff is fine. But know that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell have the utmost confidence in Jared Goff. Now, whether or not they draft a quarterback, that has yet to be seen because they talked about it today as would he be open to take a quarterback? And he said, hey, we're going to take football players. So if there is somebody sitting there that they can't pass on, then they'll have to take them, right? This season for me was about endurance. We have been through everything. We have been through the Matt Patricia. We've been through the Marty Morningwags. It was about endurance. It was about not giving up on this team. It was about trust. When Matt Patricia was here, we had a saying. It's like, I trust in Patricia or trust in Patricia or something like that. And we had this man did nothing to earn our trust. Brad Holmes has had a stellar two drafts. James Houston, Aiden Hutchinson, who, in my opinion, should win Rookie of the Year defensively. This team showed me and taught me about endurance, right? Because we were down and we were ready to check out. And the team didn't. They fought back. We got I think we have 25, according to Spot Track, 25 free agents that we are going to have to do something about. And it's a couple guys that I think that the Detroit Lions are going to bring back. I really do. I really think we already got word that John Kaminsky, he wants to come back. This season was about building on that foundation. And although the Detroit Lions didn't make the playoffs, I had them 9-8 making the playoffs. I thought a 9-8 record would be enough to make a playoff appearance, and it was a half game short. This team is heading in the right direction. That's what this season taught me. It taught me to sit back. Sometimes we got to take the emotion out of it. We got to see Brad Holmes, to me, coming into this year, he was all right. The draft, it was okay. We got Levi, we got misses. There are going to be some misses in the draft. But this year, from the draft class to the 1-6 start to the endurance to this team not giving up to the way it was built, all of these players complemented each other. They complemented each other and they played for one another. And we had a 9-8 record. A 9-8 record. That is something we have not seen since Jim Caldwell was our head coach with a 9-win team. What a ride, what a season. And it has me the most excited I've ever been watching Lions football. And that says, we say that every year, right? Well, we're excited, except probably hiring Matt Patricia. I think we all kind of knew it wasn't going to work out based on Bill Belichick's coaching tree. I have never been more excited about an offseason. The offseason is usually a drag, a long time. But this offseason, I am ecstatic about the direction of my team. The fact that we got on Sunday Night Football, the only opportunity that we had all year to show America what we were made of. All this grit, all this stuff that they hear about the Detroit Lions, we did not disappoint on Sunday night. I think that is my proudest moment from this entire thing, from the 1-6 start to the strong finish to the 8-2 finish. My proudest moment is that my team showed up when it mattered. They showed up and they showed America what we have been seeing for 2 years now. I'm proud of this team. I'm proud of Sheila Hamp-Ford. I'm proud of her not losing faith in the regime when some of our faith might have, wavered. I'm proud of the guys that were cast away from other franchises, all coming together. We have a bunch of castaways on this team, but they all came together and they played for each other. This team is going to be a team that you have to recognize for the next few years. And I'm talking about what Brad Holmes did, and I'll end the video saying this, that what Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell have taught me that I think a lot of Detroit Lions fans, decades of pain and hurt, is it's okay to trust. It's okay to trust in this team that Sheila Ford is not her mother. She's not her father. That these guys have a plan and they are showing, and they have shown, and I think they've earned the ability for us to trust it. What a season it's been, and I cannot wait until the 2023 season. With that being said, you guys are awesome. Take care of yourself. You already know, man, we here. We had a tremendous offseason last season. I think the channel grew 5,000 plus, so let's double that this year. You guys are awesome, man. I will see you in the next video, and as always, go Lions. All right, what is up, y'all? What is going on? What's going on? Now, listen, this is something new that I've seen for a while that YouTube has put into play, and I'm going to see if this works. You guys you should see a question in your chat, okay? And I don't know how you answer it, if it's a side panel or something like that, but there's a specific way I believe you can. Let me see if this works. Okay, so it just puts it in front of everybody to see. Okay, I thought it might have shown up on the screen. But I have a pinned question and answer comment. It says, what are your expectations for the Detroit Lions 2023 season? What's up, everybody in the chat? What's going on, man? Let me pop this out so I can look forward. This was kind of impromptu. I just wanted to kind of touch base with y'all. We did this last year. This will be a ongoing thing. I am by myself today. So last year was a crew, but, stuff don't always work out. What's going on, Jordan, Gaddy, NFL Kid, Vision? What's up, Jay? What's up, Volcano? What's going on? We got Cool. We got Plan B. Man, that show last night, that national title game was, I'm still trying to wake up. Was it real? Did we really see TCU get stomped? Shout out to my guy, Troxel Sports Streams, told me that Georgia covered the over-under, like the over on their own. That was the worst display of anything I've ever seen, man. Anything at all. Plan B, what's up, man? Says, who's your top free agent this offseason you would like the Lions to pick up? That is a really good question. I have to go through, and maybe we can talk about that today on as I look through the free agents. But what about that 22 season? Brad Holmes got up there today, man, and he looks more confident, right? He looks different than he did last year. Last year, he looked weary. He looked beat. Even Dan Campbell, I'm telling you, man, winning creates vibes. It creates an entire different feeling. And you could see the difference between Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell coming off year one into year two. Now, we gave them a 3-year plan, right? Most of us, we said, hey, 3 years in, we got to be talking playoffs, right? Now, I know we didn't make the playoffs, but I feel like we kind of did, right? So even though we missed out, see, if we would have, finished 7 wins, 6.5 like Vegas wanted us to, I would have said, okay, next year is playoffs. But I'm sure that most of you can agree with me in the chat that next year we're talking about division. We're talking about a playoff win. Like next year, the playoffs are not going to be good enough for us. I really don't believe that it's going to be good enough for a playoff appearance. Is not going to be enough. I mean, if you look at it, right, we were number 2 in the division. And our opponents and stuff are already out. So we're going to have to talk about that as well. So we do play the AFC West, I believe. We do play Seattle again, so we will have our chance to get revenge. We do not play Matthew Stafford and the LA Rams. They said that could come in 2024. He would make his return to Detroit, so I would probably keep my eyes open for that. But this year was fantastic. Steve says, what do you think of Malcolm Rodriguez saying he went to Barry Sanders U? You know, Steve, I have not heard any of that because I haven't, when it was playing live, I couldn't play it because of the copywritten audio. And I haven't had a chance. I know Jamal Williams kind of showed out too, but I did read about it. It was hilarious. What's up, Chris Wink? Mr. Poole says the game was terrible. Yeah, yesterday's game was the worst I've ever seen. Yeah, Mr. Poole, I did see that you sent me the video. Brain says double-digit wins, contending for division titles, and absolutely making the playoffs. I think 100%. Nick says 11-6. So should we be in competition for the division? Because I think we should. But I wanted to go over to the free agents that we are looking at for next year, that our team is faced with. Okay? Now, we got to draft some people. Right now, we have 8 picks. In the first round, we have 6 and 18. And we're going to have to make some decisions, okay? And I'm going to read some people off to you that I think that we have to make a priority. And I want you to tell me, what do you think? All right? Man, all right, so, okay, what is that? Okay. So, unrestricted free agents that I think we absolutely need to bring back. Without a shadow of a doubt, Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams is priority number 1 in my opinion. So, these are our unrestricted free agents. Okay, let me bring this over here so I can see it a little better. Unrestricted free agents for 2023. DJ Chark, Jamal Williams, Mike Hughes, Alex Anzalone, Evan Brown, Chris Board, Josh Woods, Jarrett Davis, who is on another team, so I don't know why they haven't updated that, Deshaun Elliott, Nate Sudfeld, Justin Jackson, Isaiah Buggs, Will Harris. That ends, John Kaminsky, Amani Oruwariye. Those are our unrestricted free agents. Now, out of those, we absolutely, in my opinion, need to bring back, absolutely. Got to bring back Kamish. We got to bring back Williams, Kamish, Chark. I think we got to bring back Buggs. As well. And I think if I had to, one more, okay. I would bring back Anzalone and Deshaun Elliott. That's what I would do. Oh, my God, Steve. What the world, bro? Oh, my goodness, man. Wow, says thanks for your great football coverage and best play-by-play of any commentator on the internet or TV. I look forward to your playoff coverage and next year for us. Steve, wow, bro. Appreciate that. Wow. That is, that's here, bro. Because you know that I am prepping for not a studio, like a place, but I'm going to, in February, I'm going to start working on the studio setup, lights and the desk and stuff like that. I like the green screen, but I kind of want more of a studio feel. So I got to go to IKEA, get a desk, some more lights, and figure out a way to control my computer from a distance. So this is going to go toward that. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. That is crazy, bro. Okay, so out of those, what do you feel? Okay, so somebody said Katie, Will Harris and Amani can go. Jamal needs to come back. Give Anzalone one more year and then bring back everyone else on the list. Okay, so that means that you would like to see Bugs back, and also, who else did I say? Bugs is, I think, the only one that you missed, right? Was Bugs. Amani is, in my opinion, he's gone. But listen, Brad Holmes said something today. I listened to it, and it was a couple things that stood out. Okay, the most obvious to me was Jared Goff, and I think we can finally put to rest the conversation about JG. I think we can put, and we brought up yesterday in yesterday's show. Make sure y'all check out Syndicate Sports Detroit, the next best thing in Detroit sports. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. We were talking about the fact that teams are going to, if they haven't already, begin to call about Jared Goff. I can promise you that. You have situations, you have teams like the Commanders. They don't know what they're going to do. Yes, they have Sam Howell. They don't know if he's ready, okay? The Indianapolis Colts, okay? There are a handful of teams that would kill for a quarterback like Jared Goff who already have a further along team. Don't forget now, when the Indianapolis Colts lost Andrew Luck, they were in a position to win. Phillip Rivers comes in there and takes that team to the playoffs, right? And then the next year, they missed out on that game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. There is a team that is ready for a quarterback, and that is the team that we are trying to put around Jared Goff, because they already have a team that's ready, that's a quarterback away, right? Now, it's not what it used to be. They lost T.Y. Hilton. They lost some guys. So their defense isn't what it used to be, but it's not far from it either. So I'm trying to tell you, Jared Goff is people are calling about him right now. Another thing was that the first priority for Brad Holmes in 2023 is bringing back the guys, not only the guys that we have, but the guys that want to come back. And I'm sure that all of them, 95%, we know Jamal has openly said, I want to come back. Kamish, I want to come back. Panay Sewell thanked Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes for drafting him to Detroit. We are building something. And that leads me to this. There is a free agent. I believe that Dan Campbell, and we talked about this, that Dan Campbell is going to make a move in free agency that he did not make before. He has more resources. The team is going to attract bigger name free agents. No, I don't think Saquon Barkley is going to be a Detroit Lion, okay? I think as far as the receiver market is concerned, we are going to bring back DJ Chark. I think he was able to come up and really show his worth. He also talked about Jameson Williams and how year 2 will be much better than year 1. And aren't you glad that Jameson Williams did not sit for 17 games? He got 6 under his belt, and in those 6, you could see the growing pains behind that. Okay, I see something from McKenzie. It says, if a team offered a first for Goff, do you trade him or not in this year's draft? McKenzie, I do not. I do not trade Jared Goff. I let Jared Goff's contract expire at the very least. Okay, yeah, it's me, says Lamar Jackson, looking like he wants to leave. So we're going to be having these conversations, huh? This is going to be a real thing, I see. Listen, I don't believe that Lamar Jackson is going to be a Detroit Lion. You can read into it all you want. I'm not talking to you. It's me. This is just my belief. I don't believe that Lamar Jackson's going to be a Detroit Lion. We are building a team, and we're building that team to Goff's strengths, right? We don't need Lamar Jackson like that. And I don't want him personally, but, I know a lot of people are high on Lamar. I'm hearing that he might not even play. And if he doesn't play, they're a first-round exit. That offense has been atrocious since he's been hurt. And I'm hearing he might not play. I truly don't believe. Does this guy, okay, so this is my right shoulder, but on screen it's my left. This guy right here, he's not bringing Lamar Jackson to this team. He's not bringing Lamar Jackson to this team. Now, McKenzie says you want James Bradbury. I know he's on the older side, right? Isn't he late 20s, early 30s? I know he was on a one-year deal, but the guy's in-house. Who do we bring back? I think Skipper's gone. We had a conversation, or somebody brought up Quintez Cephas. I think Quintez Cephas is gone. I don't think he's going to be here. I also don't think we're going to make a splash at running back. Okay, so he's 29. He's 29. Okay, Matt says your argument makes sense, Grid. The Hockenson trade opened up our offense crazy enough. Yeah. Amani, Skipper are gone. Sean Murphy Bunting might be worth looking at. He's only 26. Okay, so we've established, in my opinion, or that the top 5 people, how would you guys feel to Jamal Williams, DJ Chark, Deshaun Elliott? You know what? I feel like Justin Jackson too, man. I feel like Justin Jackson is a unrestricted free agent. He is 26, just turned 26 a couple months ago. Would you take Robinson over Swift? I want to say yes, but at the same time, are we in a position to draft Robinson? Now, I want y'all to pay attention to something, all right? This is what I want y'all to pay attention to. Brad Holmes is an enigma. We've already talked about that, how he is hard to pinpoint. You can't pinpoint. But like I said in the post-game show, and I said on Syndicate Sports Detroit yesterday, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Next best thing, right? I believe that although you can't pinpoint what Brad Holmes is going to do, you can see kind of a timeline, a guideline, if you will. There are things that that fit in the mode of what Brad Holmes does. Okay, what has he not done since he's been here? He has not splashed in free agency. It's a guy here, it's a guy there. He didn't go get Allen Robinson. He didn't trade for Robert Woods, even though that's not free agency. He didn't make any noise when it came to big name free agents. When we needed a safety, and Matthews sitting there in the market until right before the season, he didn't bring Tyrann here. That's one thing. But expect him to make a little bit of a ripple according to his press conference today. If you really look into it, it looks like, and on top of that, none of those guys wanted to come here last year. I think about Bobby Wagner. Did we reach out to him? And yes, he is still a beast. Did we reach out to him? I don't know. Were we even looking at him? I don't know. But I guarantee you that a free agent that didn't want to come here at the end of last season, I bet you they want to come here now. Because the whole United States of America got to see our team knock off the Packers. We've been getting love from Vikings fans, from Bears fans who cannot stand the Green Bay Packers. We've been getting love throughout the Twitterverse about this team. Mr. Poole says some context on Swift. He told reporters that he played with a high ankle sprain and separated shoulder all season. Going into next season, he's going to ball out for a new contract. Just food for thought. I believe he could. Because guess who balled out on contract year? Josh Jacobs. Balled out. And he about to get paid. All right, so quarterback. What do we do? Let's do this as we look to the 2023 NFL season. All right? Now, I want y'all to understand something here. That this is not the year that it was last year, okay? As far as free agency. There are not a ton of people. Now, I did shout out to Mr. Poole, okay? According to Spot Track, this is the top trending player in the National Football League, DeAndre Hopkins. Now, I personally do not think that Brad Holmes is going to make a move for Hopkins. They fired Cliff Kingsbury yesterday. I don't think he's going to make a move. Roquan Smith just signed a massive deal, so he's going to be there for a while. Top 5 trending players according to Spot Track: Hopkins, Rodgers, Smith, Lamar, Tom Brady. I think Rodgers is in a different location, but it doesn't, you never can tell with him. Guaranteed money, $50 million. He might stay put. Roquan Smith ain't going nowhere. They just locked him up. Lamar Jackson, I feel like he can get franchise tag. Will he play on it? Probably not. Knowing him, probably not. I feel like Tom Brady will be on a different team. McKenzie says, I'm taking QB from Georgia. All he do is win late in the draft. Well, it's going to have to be, unless Brad Holmes decides to trade up, Mac, it's going to have to be in the 5th round or later. We don't have a 4th round pick, and it's got to be before the 7th. Hopkins would elevate us, though. Okay, Lions Mania. Hopkins is still a Arizona Cardinal, right? I think y'all think it's small. Y'all need to think bigger. Y'all need to think like our GM. Our GM ain't going to do that stuff. He has shown that. He's not going to do that. What kind of capital will we have to give up for DeAndre Hopkins? We've got St. Brown. We've got Jameson Williams, who barely got the ball. We've got DJ Chark. I would really look into DJ Chark, and that's what I wanted to pull up. I want y'all to see that these free agents, man, as soon as I can pull it up on this stupid website that I'm on, y'all gotta remember, the free agent pool is not that great. It's not that great this year coming out. Yeah, it's not that great. Raiders already announced that they will actively pursue Brady. I said, oh my God. Somebody called that last night. Trade that 16th pick for Jalen Ramsey. Wait a minute. Nick, you serious right now? Lions fans, would you do that? So you could get a younger corner in the draft, but you would, thank you, Glorious, you would do that? How many of y'all would do that? Okay, Lion says to the yeah, Mr. says nope, and Nick says no. Lions Mania says I would. Scooter says Jalen not worth it. Yes, sir. Nope, maybe a second. I trust Brad Holmes to find the talent. Jalen Ramsey for 16. See, the thing about Jalen Ramsey, I want y'all to remember this, okay? Y'all got to think like Brad Holmes. Does Jalen Ramsey up here fit our team? I don't know why all of a sudden. Jalen Ramsey, to me, up here does not fit our team. Is he a dog? He is a dog, but he does not fit our team. Just like Kayvon Thibodeau didn't fit our team either. So y'all got to remember that he's not going to fit our team. He does not fit the Detroit Lions mold. A lot of drama behind Jalen. Not his football prowess. He's a dog, man. All right, so here. When we looking at the 2023 season, I know this is about the 2022 season, but I want y'all to understand something here, all right? As we looking into the quarterback market. Now, when we're talking about guys that can the Detroit Lions, will they take a quarterback? I could see it. Here's what I want y'all to understand. These are the top 10 quarterbacks that will be available in once mid-March comes. Tom Brady, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Jimmy G, Teddy Bridgewater, Daniel Jones, Case Keenum, Mason Rudolph, Jacoby Brissett, and Geno Smith. After that, Joe Flacco, Andy Dalton, Mike White, right? Tom Brady, no. Baker Mayfield, I doubt it. Jimmy G, probably not. Teddy Bridgewater, it's too late. Daniel Jones, no. I could see a Case Keenum. I could see a Jacoby, no. I don't know, man. It might be a handful of guys off of this that I could see. Geno Smith, he don't want to be I don't know. Listen. Geno Smith has been a backup his entire career from the start, after the start. Had to sit. Y'all got to remember, he's been in the league like 9-10 years. Coming off a taste of starting. Is Geno Smith want to go sit behind a quarterback? That's the question that you need to see. Teddy Bridgewater, Sam Darnold, maybe even Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield just came out today and said he's not going to chase the bag in free agency, which tells me that he might be happy as a LA Ram, okay? Now, backup quarterback. So can I see us drafting a quarterback? Yes. If we don't pick up a quarterback by the draft, like a week or two in free agency, then I think we're going to draft one. When we go to the running back position, is why I said Justin Jackson could stay in the team, could stay with the team. I do believe that Brad Holmes is going to make a splash move, kind of like he been dropping pebbles in the water. This might be like a nice size rock. Running backs, okay? These are the top 10. Saquon Barkley, I'm going to tell you right now, that's not happening. Kareem Hunt, that's also not going to happen. Rashard Penny, Jamal Williams, Josh Jacobs, Mark Ingram, Rex Burkhead, Raheem Mostert, okay? I would take my number one priority to me is Jamal Williams. Get him back in here. Jamal Williams must be a Detroit Lion. If we could not, I would see what we could do for Josh Jacobs. I would see what we could do. He would be my number one target. After that, maybe Mostert. I would take Josh Jacobs over Jamal. Okay, Nick? I think Jamal is he's more than he's worth more than his skill. He's injury prone. I think he's better than half the guys I just named. Now here's where it gets dicey at. So we've already established that the free agency market not looking too good, right? Wide receiver. Okay? This is what we dealing with. Listen very carefully. Wide receiver, why I think DJ Chark is our best option. It gets okay, but top 10. Nelson Aguilar, Sterling Shepard, DJ Chark, Randall Cobb, Marvin Jones, Julio Jones, Byron Pringle, Alan Lazard, who has expressed he doesn't want to come back, and Jacoby Myers. Okay, after that, you get into the Juju Smith-Schusters, the A.J. Green, the Jarvis Landry, Matthew Slater, N'Keal Harry. You see what I'm saying? DJ Chark, I don't really see a bunch of noise happening in free agency when it comes to wide receiver. Now we go to tight end. Mike Gesicki, Dalton Schultz, Evan Ingram, Austin Hooper, Hayden Hurst, Robert Tonyan. It's some names out there, even Dan Arnold. But why would we do that when we just gave up TJ Hawkinson going into his 5th year? I don't see us doing that. We're going to get older with these guys. Gesicki's 27. Dalton Schultz is 26. Ingram is almost 30. Hooper's almost 30. Tunion's almost 30. Hayden will be 30. We just drafted a tight end, so I don't think the tight end is going to change. So what do you see right now, right? Our team is the same. Our team right now, the core guys for our team will be back. That's what I believe. DJ Chark. Tight end, I don't think the room changes at all. Zylstra, Wright, and Mitchell. I think they're here. I don't think it changes at all. Now, here's where it could get, okay, offensive tackle, all that stuff. It might be a couple changes, and I hate to gloss over them like that because Vaitai is probably going to be gone. So it might be a couple changes on the offensive line. All right. But it was something that this is where I think the splash is going to be made. I think the splash is going to be made on the defensive side of the ball. Coyote says good on tight end. Defense should be our main priority, and we need a kicker. See, I don't think that we need a kicker like that. I think Badgley is solid. We had 10 kickers. We went through 10 kickers. We stopped on Badgley. Badgley, he missed. He missed, 5-6 kicks? It's going to happen. We got Michael Badgley week 7. They missed more kicks in the first 7 weeks, Eberle, Seibert, than Badgley did in the last 10 games he played. So I'm cool with Michael Badgley. I don't need a kicker. Unless I could get, I don't know. I mean, we have 1 7th-round pick. As a matter of fact, we don't have a 7th-round pick, which means that we would have to take Moody in the 6th round. You taking a kicker in the 6th round? Are you taking a kicker in the 6th round with the defense that we need? And we're going through free agents, so I want you to understand what I'm trying to tell you. That it's not a ton of big game-changing, big-name people coming out. And even if there were, okay, even if there were, then you got to remember who your GM is, all right? Edge rushers, are we solid? I think we're pretty good. Robert Quinn, who is 30, he's plus 30. Brandon Graham, Yannick Ngakoue, Jadeveon Clowney, he ain't coming here. Matthew Ioannidis, Ashawn Robinson, Akeem Hicks. So it ain't happening there. Now, here's where I could see Brad Holmes doing something. And yes, Swift is still under contract. He's moving into year 4. All right? I could see something being made as far as the defensive tackle position. Fletcher Cox, 32. Javon Hargrave, 29. Dalvin Tomlinson. Okay, David Ayamada, Sheldon Rankins, Tevin Bryan, Deron Payne, who is 20, he will be 26 when the season begins. That's a move I could see him making. And he's on the lower half of these names. But I think that Payne could be a move that we make, right? Not too splashy, not really irrelevant, like re-signing our guys, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? So this is where I think the change is going to be made. Linebacker. Now, we haven't even got to like safety and all that stuff, right? So let's look at it's 2 different types of linebackers. Melvin Ingram, Lorenzo Carter, right? Nobody's. I'm sorry. Outside linebacker. I'm skipping that. There's nobody there. There's nobody there. Inside linebacker. Deion Jones, Levante David, Devin Bush, Tremaine Edmonds. He might not be too bad. Denzel Perriman, Alex Anzalone. See, I think we bring back Anzalone before I think we sign one of these guys. Levante David is 32. He'll be 33 when the season begins. Anzalone will be 29, right? So right now, I'm not seeing any splashes, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it because it ain't nobody out here. But so my thing is defensive tackle. Okay, I could see us bringing in Payne. Here's where I think it could be made at. This is where I think the splash could be made at. All right, free safety. Jordan Poyer, Jimmy Ward, Adrian Amos, Devin McCourty, LaMarcus Joyner. So, I don't know. I mean, because Poyer will be 32 years old. It's a strong safety, though. And the strong safety looks even worse. Von Bell, MJ Stewart, TJ Gray, Kareem Jackson. You see what I'm saying? Dean Marlowe, former Detroit Lion. Now, I looked at Jesse Bates, and he's not on here. I thought he was franchise tagged, but I didn't see him. I did not see Bates on here. Because that's the name I was looking for. Yeah. Did they lock him up? I thought he was franchise tagged. Huh. Because he was on here last season. Or not last season, but like at the beginning of the season, I thought. So, out of all the names, right? Who is the biggest free agent? Saquon Barkley. Who's second to that? Josh Jacobs, in my opinion. So, what do you see here? Like a mid-tier move being made, right? A Deron Payne. Be 25, 26, somewhere around there, right? So, quarterback. What quarterback you taking? You want Payne for Washington. I can see that. Because at the 6th pick, are we going to get one of the guys that you wanted? You know what I'm saying? Think he is ideal for us. Yeah, he could be. So takeaways from here, right? Solomon comes in late in the mug, says Lamar. Lamar Jackson will not be a Detroit Lion. Hey, okay, hot take. I was very huge on Teddy Bridgewater in 2019. The thing that bothers me about TB is the gloves. I've hated the gloves. I don't think he was what he was. In 2019, I would have taken him in a second. Would I take him over Nate Sudfeld? Of course. I'd take anybody but Chase Daniel, right? But if the Lions don't make a move for a quarterback before the draft, I think they're going to draft one. I think they will take one we don't have a 4th round pick. So we have 1/5 and 2/6. So unless Brad Holmes decides that he wants to trade up. Now we are definitely going to be on until that super chat goes away. So however long that takes is how long. Looks like it's about halfway through. So we will be on until the end of that. Teddy looks exactly like his mom. I can't believe that. Bryce Young at 6. Okay, well, somebody, let me see. Since we got time, we got to be on for a little while. Let's talk about the NFL draft. Okay, so that is a very good question. Okay, someone asked me about the TJ Hawkinson conditional pick. Okay, we traded TJ Hawkinson November 1st, and here's what the payment was. The Lions received a 2nd round pick coming up this year, so that will be up this year, and a 2024 3rd round pick. So keep in mind we will have 2 3rd rounders next year, not this year. We get 2 seconds this year. We got 2 3rds next year. The Vikings get a 2023 4th round selection, TJ Hawkinson, and a conditional 4th round pick along with Hawkinson. The conditional 2024 4th round pick that Detroit sent to Minnesota will become a 5th round pick if the Vikings win a playoff game. So the Vikings have to win a playoff game. Now, I'm assuming that it has to happen this year because that is a draft pick for next year. So it doesn't stipulate if they just have to win a playoff game in the 2 years before this pick or this year coming up. Don't be shocked if Holmes moves up for a player he likes. I think that's obvious, Lewis. He's done that. He has done that. So that's 100%. I think that goes without saying. Flying Hawaiian says, we've had a backup center starting at right guard, and we had a backup tackle starting at left guard. When Jackson was injured because the guard we drafted isn't good enough, we need a guard. To draft a guard or free agency guard? Right, so if they win a playoff game, it goes from a 4th round pick to a 5th round pick in 2024. So not this year coming up. I don't want to move up this year. We need all the draft picks we can get. And that's what I was seeing when it came to the press conference today from Brad Holmes, is that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, they got a plan. And I got to say this. I got to just take a moment, and I did this before. I got to take a moment, man. I got to give some love to Sheila Hamp Ford. Sheila Hamp, got to give her, and I think she dropped the Ford because she wants to be separated from her parents when it comes to maybe the Lions organization, right? She knows what comes with her name when it comes to our team. And I got to give her credit. I don't know if it's going to be a lot of creators out there other than the ones that I roll with that's going to give Sheila Hamp, I'm so used to calling her, give her credit. She needs some credit because we have seen more changes since she's officially taken over for the good than we saw when her mom and dad was in office. We would have never been excited for an off season with her mom or dad in office. So I know the stigma. I know what we've been through, y'all. I'm a Lions fan. I know. Sell the team, all that stuff. Like I said, when she did that open letter to fans, I thought it was garbage. I'm like, show me, right? Show me you all talk right now. And for me, the biggest moment up until now was whether or not we all knew Matt Patricia was getting fired. We all knew that was coming. When he got hired, we knew he was getting fired, right? We knew when he got hired, we like, bruh, y'all just set us back 6 years. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? Guess what's happening? Can anybody tell me what's about to happen? What year are we since Matt Patricia? What year are we going into since we hired Matt Patricia? Matt Patricia, the hiring of Matt Patricia set us back 6 years. What year are we going into? Do we really need to draft a QB to add depth? I like the idea of signing Payne in free agency. Sheila, the MVP of the team. Nope. What year are we going into since we hired Matt Patricia? Come on, y'all. We better than this. Another theory. J-Mo took number 9 to hold for Bryce. He'll switch to 1 later. Come on, Dem. Did you not listen? Did you not listen to the press conference today? And how are we going to get Bryce Young right now? There you go. 6. Absolutely. Year 6. Matt Patricia set us back 6 years, and we going into year 6. How crazy is that? Year 6 of the moment we hired Matt Patricia. He spent 3 and 3 quarters. This is now the end of the home. So for me, the thing that started to build my confidence, I was looking at Sheila with the side of my eyes. She got a mean side eye from me because we had heard it all before. And I said, I'm going to sit back. I did one of these. I sat back and I said, let's see what happened when Matt Patricia get fired. If you keep Bob Quinn, I'm done. She fired both of them. I said, okay, all right, I'm going to give you a chance. And that's when I gave her a chance. She fired them mid-season. The last time we did that was Steve Mariucci, right? So she got a head start. Took us 2 months to hire Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell comes out and we immediately are like, that's the guy for the team. We just was worried about his ability to coach. We knew he's a motivator of men. He's a leader of men. But could he coach in the National Football League? I think we've seen, yes, he can. Got some growing to do. He's no Sean Payton, stuff like that. But listen, he's already got a potential coaching tree. Even after year 1, Dan Campbell has a potential coaching tree. If Ben Johnson or Aaron Glenn, I don't know who would hire Aaron Glenn right now, but if those guys get jobs, Dan Campbell has a coaching tree. Unreal, right? Sheila is undoing what her parents have done for over 60 plus years in record time. That's because she's listening. She's got the right people around her. She's got, and another thing too, we need to do. I hope we can do this by the start of the season. I know it might be controversial. We need to get Calvin Johnson back in the mix. I know he's feeling some type of way. I get it. Maybe I'll be feeling some type of way as well if I put my body on the line. I believe that Sheila's trying to make it happen. It's not as easy as cutting him a meal 0.3. They got to figure it out. But they need to figure this out, man. Get that man back in the fold. It would be so great to see Calvin Johnson, who has businesses here, spends a lot of time here, our generation of Barry Sanders. Get this man back in the fold. We need him. He's expressed his ability, and I got no problem. I had a huge problem with Calvin Johnson when it first happened. I thought it was very selfish of him. I thought it was about him more than anything else. Watched a documentary on him, and I said, okay, I understand. I understand now why you feeling some type of way. So repair that rift with Calvin Johnson. Eddie asked to interview Aaron Glenn. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. So if you haven't heard, the Houston Texans requested an interview with Ben Johnson yesterday, but they've got already a front runner already for that job. I don't know how you get a front runner, and I think the guy that they're looking at can't even interview right now. But they've got a front runner. So the Indianapolis Colts have requested interviews with both our offensive and defensive coordinators. So that is going to be crazy. Barry's on board. He showed up on the Hard Knock story at the beginning of the season. Yes, sir. So another thing as well that we're talking about. So we went over the free agents, available free agent. And no, I do not see Jesse Bates. I thought he was on here. I also thought Matthew had a 1-year deal, but I guess he signed a 2-year deal. So can't y'all see what I'm saying? It's not a lot when it comes to free agency. The biggest two names, in my opinion, is Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs. And Saquon would not be a Detroit Lion because I just don't see that being a move that Brad Holmes makes. And if the only way I can see Josh Jacobs is if something didn't work out with Jamal. Goff is our QB. Why disturb the chemistry he's developed with those young receivers? Russell Wilson has proven that a new QB isn't always a success. He said that, but then he disappeared. Goff is going to land us a haul, just my opinion. Just heard Brad Holmes, that man is on fire, shut down all the reporters. About what, John? Oh, you mean when he talked about when Dave was asking about Jared Goff? Wark said Patricia was only for 2 years. Okay, Wark, did you listen to my question? My question was this. I said when Matt Patricia was hired, that hiring was going to set us back 6 years. When Jim Caldwell got fired, we were not good enough, right? We were on the cusp of being good, but we were not good enough. That's why he got fired. The question was, what year are we heading into since Matt Patricia was hired? That is the question. That was what the question was. Does your 2023 expectation change if Ben Johnson leaves? I would say yes and no. I would say, would it be devastating for Jared Goff? I would say no, because I have to believe that Dan Campbell has a plan in place, whether that's to bring somebody up from the interior or go out and get someone now. But I got to believe that he has a plan in place. I don't believe Ben Johnson's going to get the job. I just think that we had 3 first-year head coaches that are going to the playoffs. They had successful seasons, but they're coming from winning organizations, right? We're not that. Just like Aaron Glenn didn't get the job last year, I don't think Ben Johnson gets the job this year. Now, sustained success, year 2, year 3, like one of those guys, like Kevin O'Connell, those guys, yeah. Then I see Ben Johnson. If he does this year 1 and year 2, or year 2, year 3, year 4, he's gone. 100%. It will be great to sell out Ford Field opening night. Oh, sugar, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. 100%. And the opponents are already out. Heading into year 5 since Patricia was hired. That is Flying Hawaiian. That is incorrect. We are heading into year 6 since Patricia was hired. Why am I not the only one that knows this? I am the only one that know. Are we serious? Grid, you're the master of catching lions slipping in public. Need you to find Ben Johnson's house so we can stop the moving trucks. I don't think that he's going anywhere, because if you think about it, why if you're going to hire Ben Johnson, you're basing, this dude was a tight end coach last year. So has he done enough for you to be like, that's my guy? Okay, Lions Mania says, where is the schedule at? Okay, so obviously the schedule does not drop until May, but the opponents are out, and I will find it now. I believe Mr. Poole sent it to me earlier today or yesterday, because I don't have it pulled up. Just the top of. Okay, so. Okay, Flying Hawaiian. Matt Patricia lasted 3 years. We fired him in the middle of year 3. There were 5 games left. That was 3 years. Dan Campbell's year 1. That's 4. Dan Campbell's year 2. That's 5. I said that Matt Patricia being hired would set us back 6 years. We're going into year 6. All right, let me see if I can find because they pretty much dropped it right after the season, because they have a general idea like this team plays that team, and depending on your seeding, where you finish in the division. Lions versus Chiefs primetime game 1. You know what? I could see that. You know, when I first saw the opponents, I got a little nervous. Because I'm thinking about the last time we played these teams. Okay, I don't see it. I need to look and see. It's all good, Flying. It's all good. All right. I got a little nervous because the last time, because the NFC West is pretty good. It's pretty good, man. The Chargers, pretty good. So, and we play them on their turf. So I got a little nervous. But then I thought about it. I said, why? Why get nervous? Our team is going to be better than it was this year. We had a top 10, top 5 offense. So why should I be nervous? I shouldn't be. All right, so our 2023 opponents, we do not have the schedule. Okay? There you go. Appreciate that, Mr. Poole. Always coming through. All right, so here are they. All right, so at home, we have, obviously, the Green Bay Packers, the Chicago Bears, the Minnesota Vikings. We have the Atlanta Falcons, the Carolina Panthers, the Denver Broncos, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Seattle Seahawks. Those are our 8 games. Remember, we get 8 games next year because now the AFC, which started the 17-game season with a home game, with an additional home game, it is their turn again. So we only have 8. We get 9 in 2024. The road game, Chicago, Green Bay, Minnesota, Kansas City, which I am really trying to go to that game. I want to experience what Arrowhead is like. They said it's like the loudest stadium and it's outside. So that's the game I'm going to try to go to. The Chargers, the Saints, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Dallas Cowboys, and the Baltimore Ravens. So if I have enough, if my finances are in the right place, I want to go to Dallas because I wanted to go this year, and we play them next year. So on the road. So Dallas, Tampa Bay would be nice too, but I don't really do outside like that. Outside in my venue. If the Lions played outside, I would very rarely go to home games. So those are the road games that I want to go to. Says I'll be at the Chargers. So what do you think? Yes, 9 road games, 8 home games next year, and then the year after that, we're back to having 9. And listen, I don't want to skip past 2023, but 2024, y'all, is shaping up to be fantastic. It's shaping up to be fantastic. We have an additional home game. On top of that we're coming off the draft in the D. That's going to be insane. Denver is a home game. We play Denver is a home game. We play the Chiefs and the Chargers on the road. Hey, Nate, you and me both, bro. I've been waiting since they opened up Allegiant. So whenever they do play them, that is priority number 1. It was SoFi last year. Like if I was balling, then I would go to 3 games. I would go to Arrowhead, Dallas, and SoFi. I would go back to there. But since I've already been to SoFi, then I'm going to put that last on the list. Chiefs and Chargers are on the road. Yes. Yep. Lions says all dome games are win. So are way too early. What y'all thinking? We play the NFC South, the AFC West. The last time we played the AFC West was Matt Patricia's. That was our 3-12 in 1 year. So we're coming off of, we're in 4 years now. So that could mean that we can't play the Raiders until I'm almost 50 years old, bro. Unless we get one of them, like we got the Seahawks again, but we don't play the NFC West. So I don't know. Kansas City, hey, listen, Steph, I want Monday Night Football. Forget that Sunday night. I want the one that's on cable. I said Goff won Sunday. I get his jersey. Just got to decide on the color. Hey, Lorenzo, that's a good one, man. I don't know. Get the blue boy. Maximum Minimum 10, max 12. So Nick is saying, wow, 10-7? Yeah, I can see that. Hey, bro. I think we could be the Eagles, bro. I think we can be the Eagles. I think Brady stays in Tampa Bay, so that might be an L. I don't know. Flying says 11-6 or 12-5 is doable. I think we get double digits for sure. For sure. I think Lions 10-13 is reasonable. Doug says 10 max, 10 minimum, 12 max. Plan B says 12-5. 7-1 at home, 5-4 on the road. We went, what, 4-4 on the road? We lost to the Patriots, the Cowboys. Man, can you believe we swept the Pack? Just think about this, y'all. Think about the excitement of next year. The Detroit Lions were one bad coaching decision away from, we led by 10 with 8 minutes left in that Minnesota game. We didn't score again. Imagine if Dan Campbell, Jared Goff, the Detroit Lions offense is as confident as they were ending the Green Bay Packers season. Can you imagine that one game? That's the game we absolutely should have won. We were leading. We didn't have to come back. They did. We would be talking about a matchup against the San Francisco 49ers. Man. And I'm hoping that year 3 is fantastic. Year 3. So we'll end the show saying this or asking this. And again, I'm going to wait till that super chat goes away. What are your expectations? I did see this, and I want to talk about it. I got to find this. Because I could also make this a video. I can make this a video, and I might put it on another channel. But listen, so we got a couple of channels. We got Syndicate Sports Detroit. We also have Syndicate Sports Detroit XL. I think I'm going to rename that to SSD XL, shorten it up a little bit. I think the algorithm knows what it is, so therefore it'll put it in front of people who watch sports. I'm not worried about the name as much as I was. Dimsum says, Grid, does it not alarm you that the Lions were 2-5 against winning teams this season? How much of the improvement was due to historically weak NFC? Do we not expect a talent jump from everyone? That's actually a reasonable question. It doesn't alarm me as much because, okay, you said we were 2-5 against winning teams, right? We should have beat the Buffalo Bills. We should have beat the Minnesota Vikings. The Seattle Seahawks, do they count? We got drubbed against them, okay? We could have beat them, though, at the end. So the fact that we were so close, in addition to that, their talent jump might, I don't really know much about the Minnesota Vikings and their cap situation, who their free agents are. And then the fact that we're playing teams that are kind of trying to find themselves. The Vegas Raiders, who's their quarterback going to be? Will Devontae Adams be there? Probably. But I'm not alarmed because of how we competed with those teams. The New York Giants, right? We beat them. So I don't know, man. It doesn't really bother me as much as it may bother you. Rustin says, J-Mo might have some attitude problems. I know he's young, but he's got to grow up. I saw Mark Holmes is a Cowboy fan. I saw Mark Orm's video about Jameson, and I understood where he was coming from. I have no criticisms of Mark Orm's video. And I do believe that you're right. He has to grow up. He has to mature. We have to remember, think about when you were 21. How mature were you? All you know is football, okay? As a matter of fact, let's do this. Should we be concerned about Jameson Williams? Now, this is not a video response to anyone. I did see Mark Orm's video, and I agree with a lot of it. I just wanted to add kind of my 2 cents on it. Should we be concerned with Jameson Williams and the apparent kind of maybe fit or tantrum that he may have been having on the sideline? The thing that I'll say about that is Jameson Williams is 21 years old. Remember what it was like for you to be 21. Also, think about this. Jameson Williams, we've heard it from Brad Holmes. We've heard it from Dan Campbell. He is a football player. Some of these guys have been playing football since right around the time they knew how to talk. They started school, they started football. And even if that's not the case, the kid loves the game. Does he need to mature? He does. Will he? Absolutely. He's been playing the game for more than half his life. He is playing in the biggest game of his life. He gets hurt. He has to be shelved for almost a year. And when he comes back, every time he touches the ball, he wants to score. He needs to, yes, he will have to mature. We all had to mature at 21. Is it a concern? I don't believe it is. I believe that the Detroit Lions, they did their due diligence. They talked to him in the interview process. A lot of y'all thought Kayvon Thibodeau was going to be a Detroit Lion, and I knew that he wasn't. He does not fit what we're trying to do. For the very few words that Jameson Williams does say, the Detroit Lions saw enough in him that they didn't have to worry about the Michael Thomas attitude. They didn't have to worry about the Antonio Brown attitude. Jameson Williams was excited. He's young. He is hype. This is what he loves to do. You saw what happened when he scored his first touchdown. You saw what happened. And I think a lot of that, too, on the sideline. Got to remember, Lions did a flea flicker. Jameson Williams was not only, what a ball placement by Jared Goff, but the Jets, man, turned him on. And to have his first, you got to remember, Jameson Williams that was his third touch. His third touch. The first one went to the crib, right, wide open. The second one, he was moving that thing. Tried to dive from the 10-yard line. This one, 2 out of his 3 touches were touchdowns. They were touchdowns. He wants to score. He's a football player. He needs to mature. That will come. He's around the right people. Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes will put Jameson Williams around the right people. One of the reasons that he needed to play this year was for what you saw. The chemistry. Brad Holmes talked about it today in his press conference. The chemistry is a thing that needs to be developed. Expect a lot more working out between J-Mo and Jared Goff. And he all but promised that we would see a different result next year. Jameson Williams was never meant to be on the shelf for 2022, but he was also drafted for 2023, knowing that he would have a limited time in this 2022 season. So aren't you glad that Jameson Williams saw the field? I think that he grew up a ton in the 6 games that he was able to play. So I understand what Dim Sum says. Something goes wrong every time J-Mo is targeted, drops, penalties, and poor throws, but on all 3 targets this year. If Goff connects with J-Mo, he'll have 40 touchdowns, no lie. When J-Mo and Goff get that connection, it's scary. That's going to be facts on facts. He got 3 touches in 6 games. Let's cut him a break. Well, and that's the thing. Like, I understand what it looks like. When he was drafted, it was coming out that the man didn't even open his mouth. And it was coming out that he didn't want to be a Detroit Lion. That's what speculation can do. So none of this is about Mark Orms and his video. This was just about, I saw it too on the sideline. The first thing I thought was remember what happened when I think Amon-Ra was pushed out of bounds and Jameson was still in street clothes and he ready to go, for his team. I think that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a guy that loves what he's doing, that wants to help his team, and in a way he has to calm down just a little bit. He is going to have to mature, but that's going to happen. I don't really think anything he did was out of line that much. I think what it was it was the last game of the season. He had a flea flicker play. He did his job. He caught the ball. He burns 2 defenders. If I'm Jameson Williams and I'm running across the end zone, I'm thinking, this is life. I score on Lambeau Field. 2 of the 3 touches are touchdowns. I'm hyped, right? To see it called back on the holding call, and then to finish his season. This young man wants to play the game. So Jameson Williams will be all right. He is going to have to grow up, but we all did at 21. Can't nobody say right now that they're the same person that they were at 21. And if you are more mature at 21 than you are now, then you've got a problem. So I think Jameson Williams will be just fine. Mike Owens is in that video. What video are we talking about? Hutch and Houston got to put some muscle on. I think Hutch for sure. But, hey, Rustin, I believe that you are right. I think we all have to do it right. We all have to, like I remember how I was at 21. I definitely needed to mature. But here's something that I wanted to do. We'll wrap it up. Super Chat's about to go away, and then I will see you. But I appreciate y'all, man. I really do, man. The first season being Detroit Lions Syndicate is over. And the funny thing is a year ago today, well, I think it was the 9th, but a year ago today is when I decided I hadn't made a video in a month, and I decided today. I said that entire month I was too busy on grid and other stuff, and I said, okay, when Brad Holmes gets in front of the media, Derek, you have to make a video. That's the day you have to make a video. I made a video. It was the best thing I could have done. Channel blew up. We grew 5,000 in the offseason, and I'm expecting the same or better results this year. So I definitely want to compete with that other guy. All right, and I think I'm doing better than that other guy too, by the way. So, like Deion Sanders said, I'm coming, but he knows that though. That's why he tried to hold a brother down. But anyway, all right, so let's do this. Y'all guys know how I love me some Brad Berriman. He does not really like Jared Goff, but that's okay because a lot of people doesn't have the nicest things to say about Jared Goff, but I think he does good work for Fansided. And he mentioned in an article today, 5 Detroit Lions who won't be back in 2023. And some of them I agree with, and some of them I might feel a little differently. So I want to ask you guys what you think. Number 5, Quintez Cephas. We didn't even know if Quintez Cephas was going to make the team initially. He surprised us, came alive in training camp. He made the team, and then he got injured. Injuries are going to hold Quintez Cephas back. I would love to see him do something in the league because he's got potential. Big body, he's got potential, but he can't seem to stay healthy. So I agree that Quintez Cephas, I believe it's more likely he won't be back than that he will be back. Defensive end, Charles Harris. Charles Harris has been on the shelf for most of this year. Signed a 2-year deal, I want to say last offseason, but those mean nothing in the National Football League. Not sure what he did. He does carry close to an $8 million cap hit at $7,998,000. If they cut him or trade him before June 1st, then there'll be some dead money involved. They'll save a little over $4 million. If it's a post June 1st, it'll be $6 million. So Charles Harris, I'm kind of on the fence about this one. Romeo's back. James Houston has come alive. So will Charles Harris be back? On the fence. I'm on the fence about that one. I'm not sure. But Michael Brockers, he's out of there. There's nothing to talk about. He's out of there. They will clear $10 million of his. Wow. Yep, he gone. If they cut him pre or post June 1st, they'll clear $10 million. So Michael Brockers has been in this. Nope, he's been in a Lions shirt. I thought I had it on for the past almost the whole year. So Brockers, there's no reason for him to come back. Number 2, Vaitai. Vaitai, in my opinion, will be gone as well. He had back issues and was put on the shelf for most of the year. As a matter of fact, for all of the year, the Detroit Lions offensive line that we were so excited to see did not take a single snap in 2022. A post June 1st cut bumps the cap savings to $9.5 million. A trade on each side of June 1st carries the same money implications for the Lions. So Big V has played his last, in my opinion, down as a Detroit Lion. And number 1, Amani Oruwariye. This, to me, is a no-brainer. We might even be in the market for two cornerbacks because I'm not sure what's happening with Jeff Okudah. He's only on year 4 of his 5-year deal. So I do expect Jeff Okudah to stick around. It depends on what offseason he has. We've been speaking. You know what? Jeff Okudah stand. We're not going to worry about a second cornerback because Brad Holmes said in his press conference today to wrap up the season that 2022 was essentially Jeff Okudah's rookie year. So because 2020 was COVID, 2020 and he was hurt a lot. 2021 he had the Achilles. He only played a half of a game. So Brad Holmes, that tells me that Jeff Okudah, replacing Jeff Okudah, might not be the number one priority or even on his list. Jeff Okudah showed what he could do early in the season and for most of the season. I mean, he was getting burned and stuff like that, but it's going to happen. So I could see him. But Amani fell off a cliff this year, and I think that he is going to not be a Detroit Lion. We drafted him 5 years ago, so his time with the Detroit Lions, I believe, is over. He was on the shelf most of the season as well. So there are my thoughts. I do agree that at least that Amani, Michael Brockers, and Quintez Cephas, and Big V, I think the only one that could maybe stick around is Charles Harris. But for the most part, I do agree that this could be the end for those 5 players. So let me know what you think. If you think that, in the comments below. I will talk to you soon. All right, guys, the super chat is gone, and I appreciate that. Let me see what you guys had to say. You said Big V will never be the same. Back injuries hurt. Panay going to be mad if Big V gone. Titus, I don't know. Cut Brockers, yep, I think he's gone. Yep, we must. Jamal, we've already talked about that, and we agree. Sign a QB through free agency. Independent, we did. We talked about that before you got here. And because you're late, not late, because there was no time that you needed to be here, but because the show is ending, I should say, here are the cornerbacks, the free agent cornerbacks for, and you know what, we skipped over this one. I don't know how I missed this one. Marcus Peters, no. These are the free agent cornerbacks coming out in this year's free agency market. Somebody expressed they wouldn't mind James Bradbury. Free agency cornerbacks, Marcus Peters, Bradley Roby, James Bradbury, Jonathan Jones, Anthony Brown, Emmanuel Mosley, Cameron Sutton. They even got Patrick Peterson on the list, Eli Apple, Kyle Fuller, PJ Williams. So they even got Mike Hughes like 25 down. So Marcus, I don't want nothing to do with him. He don't fit us anyway. And go back and watch the show. And we talked about all that stuff, man. But I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for supporting Detroit Lions Syndicate as we wrapped up year 1. Yeah, this is the end. This is the end of my first year, man. So I appreciate y'all. We gonna get bigger and badder and better and bolder and everything. Any B word you can think of, that's what we doing, man. That means good things, of course. I appreciate y'all, man. I will see you in the next live stream. Don't forget, check out Syndicate Sports Detroit and Syndicate Sports Detroit XL. If you haven't already, you should see us in your feed very, very soon. Good night, everybody. Appreciate y'all.